Should you buy a new car or a used car? Which is the better choice? That's what we're going to find out. Welcome to Car Help Corner, where we help you, the consumer, master the process of car buying and car ownership. One of the biggest questions when it comes to buying a car is whether it's better to buy a brand new car or try to save yourself some money and go with a used car. Well, in this video, I'm going to explain why the answer is not as obvious as it may seem, and we're going to look at which vehicles are better to buy brand new versus lightly used, and when it makes the most sense to consider one option over the other. So let's begin with the common belief that's been around for ages and is often preached by many so-called financial experts on YouTube, which is do not buy a car brand new because it's just going to lose 20% of its value right away the second you drive it off the lot. So instead, buy a used car, one that's a few years old, for 30% less, because that's what smart people do. Well, I'm going to tell you that depending on the kind of car you want to buy, this could be the wrong move, and it could actually be complete nonsense. You cannot use the same generic blanket claim across the entire auto industry because not all vehicles depreciate at the same rate. In fact, many of the most popular vehicles on the market can have incredibly strong resale value and don't depreciate much within the first 2 to 3 years. This is certainly the case with many popular Japanese brands such as Honda, Subaru, and especially Toyota. Because these vehicles are in such high demand, you don't save much, if anything, by attempting to purchase one that's lightly used. In fact, on average, these vehicles only lose around 10 to 20% of their value within the first 2 to 4 years, which is really not that much. Let's use the best-selling vehicle in North America as an example, the Toyota RAV4. According to the depreciation data from CarEdge, the RAV4 only loses around 20% of its value after the first 3 years, with average annual driving. And to get even more specific with the RAV4 hybrid, which is the most popular variant, the 3-year depreciation is closer to only 10%, which is basically nothing. And the RAV4 isn't alone. The Toyota Sienna, the 4Runner, the Corolla Cross, and Corolla all have similar strong resale value, all only losing between 15 to 20% of their value after 3 years. And it's not just Toyotas, many Subarus, Hondas, and some others are in the exact same boat. Just look at the depreciation graph on a Toyota Corolla. It only drops by 15% in value after 3 years, and only 19% after 5 years, which is the equivalent of around $5,000. Now, just think about that for a moment. Is it really worth it to buy a car that's already 5 years old, that probably has around 60,000 miles or 100,000 kilometers, that's already gone through 1/3 of its life, has that much wear and tear on it with no warranty, just to save around $5,000? Absolutely not. In fact, if you're planning to finance, you won't even save that much. That's because used cars often have much higher interest rates when financing compared to brand new cars. Usually the interest rates when financing a used car are anywhere between 7 to 10% versus around 3 to 6% when financing a brand new car. So when you factor in the cost of borrowing when it comes to purchasing that used car, well, in the end, you're really not saving much, if any money at all. But even if you pay cash, it's still not worth it, because even with a 3-year-old car, you are forced to make way too many sacrifices. Remember, even when you're buying a 3-year-old car, it's most likely not going to have much, if any, warranty protection left. So if you have any mechanical issues, you're going to have to pay for them out of pocket. It's going to have 3 years worth of wear and tear, which means you're going to have to spend more money on maintenance and repairs, and it's already going to have lost a huge chunk of its value, which means that after owning it for several years, it's probably not going to be worth very much, if anything at all. Add it all up, and buying a used car that fits into the category of one of these examples just does not make any sense. You are far better off just buying one brand new. Make sure you negotiate a good deal and try to get a discount, take advantage of low financing rates or other incentives, and ultimately maximize the value of your purchase. Now, of course, with that said, the entire car market is not comprised of cars like Toyotas, Hondas, and Subarus. There are many other vehicle types, and there are many situations where buying a used car does make financial sense. One good example of that are luxury cars. Luxury brands tend to experience heavy depreciation, and because they are often so expensive to begin with when brand new, you can save a significant amount of money by buying one that's 2 to 3 years old, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars on very lightly used examples with plenty of warranty coverage remaining, in which case it can be well worth it. Another example where buying a lightly used car could be worth it is by buying a certified pre-owned or CPO car from a new car dealership. Many car brands offer what they call CPO or certified pre-owned programs, which are special used cars that are sold through new car dealerships. They are often the highest quality used cars with clean history reports, excellent condition, and they get fully reconditioned with a complete inspection report. And they often include 1 to 2 years of extra warranty protection. Just take a look at this example of a lightly used Honda through Honda's certified pre-owned program. This car is significantly less money than what it cost when brand new. And it's not too old, it doesn't have too much mileage, and because it's certified pre-owned, you are going to get an extra 2 years of warranty protection on the powertrain. So this is an example of a used car deal that does make financial sense. Another perk with certified pre-owned cars is that they sometimes have special incentivized financing rates, just like brand new cars. So you can get a similar interest rate when financing, which is nice. But again, this only makes sense to consider if you're saving enough money over the equivalent car brand new. The general rule of thumb is that the car should depreciate by around 10% for each year, which means that a 3-year-old car should be around 30% less than the equivalent car brand new from the dealership. If you're not saving at least that much money, then it's most likely not worth it to buy used. Now, there is one more situation where it does make sense to buy a used car, and that's if you're planning to pay cash on an older car. Cars that are 8 to 10 years old or more that you can buy in cash for a low price, that are still fresh enough and good enough that you can drive them for another 4 to 5 years. I would only consider this for cars that have a good reputation for reliability, and only if you can find a nice example for a reasonable price. And that's going to be the hardest part, because finding a good cheap used car, especially for under $10,000, can be incredibly challenging, especially cars from desirable, reliable brands that everybody wants. Now, even though this is a strategy that a lot of financial experts often advocate for, it's just not a realistic option for everybody to do. I mean, just think about it. If everyone were to stop buying new cars and were to go out and try to find old used cars that are in good condition for $5,000, how many of those types of cars do you think would realistically be left out there? Of course, the car market is going through a lot, and car prices have increased substantially over the past few years. And with the whole tariff situation creating a lot of uncertainty and potential further price increases, this could encourage a lot of consumers to take a look at the used car market as a cheaper alternative to buying brand new. But remember, oftentimes when the prices of brand new cars go up, the prices of used cars go up just as much at the exact same rate. This is exactly what happened during the pandemic when there was a massive car shortage, and it's most likely going to happen again during this tariff war situation, which means that if you are planning to buy a car from a desirable, reliable brand, such as the ones that I mentioned earlier in the video, it might still make more sense to buy one brand new. Just take a look at this recent study from IC Cars, which is a reputable company that provides research and data on the car industry. And their most recent study shows that tariffs could increase the price of used cars between 5 to 10%, which has already begun because the tariff situation is creating a lot of uncertainty on the car market right now. So hopefully this information was helpful, and if you did find this video valuable, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you are planning to purchase a vehicle and you live in Ontario, know that OMVIC is the vehicle sales regulator that's responsible for administering and enforcing the rules that dealerships must follow. To learn more about your consumer protection rights, just visit omvic.ca. And if you need any additional car buying advice, recommendations, or help with getting a great deal on your next new car purchase, make sure to visit carhelpcanada.com. Thanks so much for watching, and see you next time.